Hello friends, welcome back to the New Axis. Today I'll go over on how to take a results-oriented approach to passing the FE exam. As you may already know, the FE exam stands for Fundamentals of Engineering exam, and it's a 6-hour exam that tests your ability to problem solve, and it's based on core engineering principles that we learn in engineering school. The FE exam is the first step to licensure and become professional engineers. So if you're considering taking the FE exam or preparing for it, this video is for you. I took the FE exam back in October 2018 and passed it only after studying 4 days actively, which includes a lot of caffeines and all-nighters, but I don't recommend it. The reality is that I had over a month and a half to prepare for the exam, but back in October 2018, my priority was on going out and working out, because in engineering school, I didn't have much of a social life. So I was not proactive in studying for the exam. So this video is on how I successfully prepare for the FE exam in the very last minute. And if you're in the same position, I hope that you follow the 5 tips that I'm going over in this video. The first step that I took before I started studying for the FE exam was to actually take a practice exam. Regardless of how much time you have to prepare, this is something I strongly encourage you to do, either if you're taking the FE exam or the PE exam. Taking a practice exam ahead of your study time will allow you to see which portions of the exam are your strengths and weaknesses. And here's my case. You may be a structural engineer, and for topics like fluid mechanics, which is a class that I took back in college, it may be an area of the exam that will be harder to prepare for since your experience is in structural engineering. Taking the practice exam ahead of your study time instead of right before the actual exam day will not only allow you to understand the exam format, understand your timing in answering each of the questions, but will also allow you to create a study plan that is not only efficient, but is geared towards reinforcing the areas of improvement needed. My next tip is to don't study to learn, study to pass. Your goal in taking the FE exam is to pass the FE exam, not to learn engineering all over again. Chances are that you're in a very specific engineering field, and learning engineering all over again, different topics, different core engineering principles may not be beneficial or relevant to your career as a whole. For example, I am a structural engineer, and while studying for the FE exam, in the surveying portion specifically, I only study enough to have a basic understanding of the concept and enough to get the correct answers in the exam. I was not studying to become a surveyor after passing the FE exam. So it's important to make this distinction, especially when you're spending large amounts of time in a concept that may only briefly show up in the exam. My third tip is to set up a realistic and direction-oriented study plan. When studying for the FE exam, I had my lessons learned because studying extensively in just over 4 days was not only a stressful and fear-inducing thing to do, but I had no other choice. If you're taking the FE exam, chances are that you have all the responsibilities and priorities at the same time. For instance, you may be a college student or an engineer working an 8-hour day job. Therefore, after taking the practice exam, write down all of the areas of improvement needed and create a study plan or schedule that is not only focused in improving your areas that need it the most, but also considers your other responsibilities and time commitments. You want to make sure that you pass the exam. It's not a race on who takes the FE first or how long it takes you to prepare for it. So make sure that you give yourself enough time to prepare for the FE exam so you can walk in with confidence on exam day. But don't give yourself too much time. If you give yourself a 1-year study plan, 1 year to prepare for the FE exam, you will take exactly 1 year to prepare for it. This is not only stressful because you're going to have this project in the back of your head for an entire year, and it's also not an efficient thing to do. Your time is precious. Take care of it. My fourth tip is to actually be proactive while studying. As you prepare for the exam, you will notice that there will be some topics that will be harder to understand than others, especially in topics that you did not learn in college. In moments like this, we have to put ourselves in the mindset that everything can be figured out. Chances are, if you're struggling with a topic, the first thing you will do is reach out for a textbook. And you may see yourself spending large amounts of time trying to understand the jargon that is used in textbooks. But we're not about that life anymore. Textbooks are great, but in this day of age, there's so many other platforms and learning resources that will allow you to understand the concept a lot faster than what a textbook may offer. Platforms such as YouTube have many videos with 5 to 10 minute explanations of different engineering concepts that will allow you to understand the concept a lot faster, efficient, in a different learning style. So when you're stuck with a particular topic, reach out for other resources. Don't only reach out for a textbook. That way you can be effective while you're studying and you can move on into the next topic. My last tip is to practice, practice, practice. The more practice you do, the more comfortable you will feel during exam day. Practice will not only help you gain confidence, but it will also keep your problem-solving skills sharp as you approach the exam day. And that's it for today. Please consider subscribing to the Neutral Access for all the similar content, and make a comment down below for your tips on how to pass the FE exam. This is Wilson Raposo-Oleinik at the Neutral Access. Until the next time.